Kemp here's the Money Talk here with another video. And this one may be a little controversial. And that is, should women help pay the rent or pay half the rent? We'll get into that. First of all, if this is the first time you ever been on my channel, in this video I talk about ways to make money, save money, invest in money, basically anything to do with money. But I already tell you the topic, so let's dive into it. Now, obviously, if your girlfriend or wife don't have a job, then they can't really help you pay any rent. They can't help you pay half of it, or even 1/10 of it. So you're stuck paying all the bills all by yourself. But maybe you're that guy that don't really care their girlfriend or wife don't have a job. Maybe you're fine paying all the bills by yourself. I mean, if that's you, then that's your decision. There's nothing wrong with that. Just gotta deal with the consequences. Now, in this other next situation, maybe they have a job, but it's like one of those small jobs that only pay you like $600 a month. So maybe they have that get paid weekly, like $150 every week, like a gas station job. So let's dive into that one. Now, let's say that your apartment complex. Well, mine just like $930 a month now. So paying half of that amount, that'll be, it's over $400. I was gonna say that they would have to pay. Which means they would only have like a couple, less than $200 to spend if they were to spend, like pay like half of that. Well, here's something else you could do. You may have them pay like the utility bill, and you just stick to the guy could just stick to the rent or the mortgage if it's a home. Because that's what my friend did whenever him and his wife were together. She took care of the electricity and he just took care of the rent. I'm not sure she also paid a water bill. I know my utility bill, it's also combined with the water bill and electricity, so that's how it is for me. But he lived in a different apartment complex, like 7 miles away, so it was totally different. So that said they was making a little bit of money. But now, what they made more money. Let's say they made like $1,100 a month. I mean, it's a little bit more. So with $1,100 a month, I mean, paying half of the $930, I mean, it could work. But well, your apartment wasn't as cheap as mine. What if you live in like a more expensive apartment? What if your apartment costs like $1,400 a month? So now half of that would be like $700. And she's making $1,100, so she would have $400. Yeah, I said $1,400, so she would have $400 to herself if she was spending $700 every month. But there's ways around this, because $400 to yourself, I mean, it can work, but it's kind of struggling. Especially if rent went up like next year. The next year rent goes up. It's now $1,500 or $1,600. So now she has to pay like what, $800 like a month. And now she has $300 to herself because her pay didn't go up. There's a way around this too. Just maybe have her pay like a quarter of the rent. So a quarter of $1,500, $1,600. We'll say $1,600. So a quarter is $1,600. I'm gonna do this math in my head. So a quarter is 1,600. You know what? I'm not gonna do this in my head. Or yeah, I could do this in my head. So okay, so that'll be 400. Yeah, so $400 will be a quarter of 1,600, and she makes 1,100. So she will have $700 left over. So I say that's fair, especially if she don't have a lot of expenses. So $700 left over every single month. I mean, I think that's fair if she's only paying like a quarter of the rent. If the girlfriend or wife's paying a quarter of rent, and the husband or the boyfriend, I mean, we're assuming he makes more money than she does. Maybe he makes twice as much as she does, or maybe 5 times as much. So I say it's fair in that situation. But what if they made the same amount? What if the woman made the same amount as the man? Split in half at that point, I mean, it would make more sense than if they make the same amount of money. I say it will be fair. But even better, what if they actually make more money? What if the woman actually makes more money than the man? It's not the 1950s. Now it's more common for women to make more money than a man these days and age than it was back in the 1950s. Because back in the 1950s, it would have been extremely rare for a woman to make more money than a man. But it is possible. Because let's say this happened, because when I was working at pubs, I didn't make that much money. I probably was making only like $600, $700 a month. Yeah, I was poor. And there was this older woman that I was into. She was my manager. I admit, she was my manager. I never had a girlfriend, so I really wanted a girlfriend back then. Obviously, it didn't go anywhere. I do talk about her like one of my ebooks. Who knows? Maybe once I get 800 subscribers and you win, you might be able to get that book for free and you get to learn more about me. But now back to the main topic. Let's say that she rejected me. I admit she did reject me, but what if she didn't reject me? What if we actually became a couple? I was still living in my parents' house back then, but let's say if I would have moved out back then and I moved in with her, there's no way I would have been able to pay half the rent. I was just too poor. So she would have had to pay more than half of it. Also, if the genders reverts, it happens all the time. The man seems to be more willing to help the woman when they're making more money, but when it's the other way around, the woman don't seem to be helping the man much. I know it's different. Sometimes it is different. Sometimes that younger guys like in college, and the woman actually is making a lot more money. If she's thinking long term, she's like, okay, I'll help this guy go through college. Especially if he's like a lawyer. I'll help him into law school. Once he starts making that money, he could pay all the bills then. Maybe not all, but you get the point. Or maybe he could pay all. Maybe once he start getting to law, maybe she could quit her job and he could be the main breadwinner or piece of winner. So I'm just pointing that out. Also, if I'm letting somebody move into my house, if I'm letting the kids stay with me, I don't expect them to pay rent at all or any bills. I guess a lot of women just never grow up. People say men are immature, but I just had to go over this topic because I was hearing all over on YouTube how these women did not want to pay rent. They want the man to pay all the bills. They just sound like kids to me. talking. So it's crazy. These women talk about how men be like childless. They're so immature, but I've never heard a man say that women should pay all the bills and they shouldn't have to pay anything. I've never heard a man say that. Now I heard boys say that. I heard kids say things like that. I mean, I was like that when I was a kid. I'm not paying no bills. I'm a kid. But these grown women's like, they want the man to pay everything. It was crazy. So if I'm letting a kid move in with me, I don't expect them to pay any rent at all or any bills. But if I'm letting a grown woman live with me, I expect her to pay something. But that is just me. Again, it depends how much money she's bringing. And then, so that's one thing to think about. If you are going to let your girlfriend move in with you, decide how much rent she's going to pay. Is she going to pay half the rent? Is she going to pay a quarter rent? Is she just going to pay the utility bill? Is she going to pay the utility and the internet bill? I mean, that'll be another thing I can work out. Maybe she can pay the utility bill and the internet bill. And you just stick to the rent. So that is another option. And I'm just going to end the video here. I just want to go over that because after that one YouTuber, the Dream Green guy, he showed all these entitled women how they don't want to work it. They want to find a man, they don't want to work, they want them to pay all the bills. Maybe it's how to raise. I guess people are raising their girls to be spoiled nowadays. Or maybe it's always been like that, I don't know. I don't have a sister, so I don't know. And I don't have a daughter either. But for me, regardless of it, if my kid's a boy or a girl, I'm going to teach them. They want something, they're gonna have to learn how to make money and pay for things themselves, regardless of what gender they are. But that is me. I did see some people like I think it was in, what is this called? Is it the Curie? I don't even know how to pronounce it. People are saying they're willing that they'll spoil their daughter, they'll pay for their daughter's car, but not their son's car. I've seen things like that in like one of these internets on the internet. I'm just shaking my head. So I guess the guys like that are part of the problem why these women grow up to be entitled. I'm not saying all women are like that. There's some women out there that don't need a man to pay anything for them. They pay their own rent, their own mortgage. And they don't need a man to help them at all. My brother's fiance is like that. Not fiance, what I'm saying, it's his sister-in-law. Yeah, his sister-in-law, she pays her own bills. She doesn't have a man at all. So financially, she actually doesn't need a man. So those kind of women I do respect. Now the women that complain about how they don't like living with their parents. They don't take no action, they just stay with their parents. So my friend's fiance, his ex, I should say, the same one that was paying the electric bill, she now lives with her mom, I should say. She just complains. And she doesn't even work now. So women like that, I don't respect. A woman that complains about living with their parents. They have no job. And they just complain about it. And just stay there. But a woman that actually takes action, they don't like their parents. They actually get a job, they move out. I mean, I respect those women. And Now I'm going to end the video for real. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. And if you think a woman should pay the rent or pay some of the bills, let me know. But with that being said, have a good weekend. Bye for now.